Hello. Hi. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you're new to my channel or you don't know who I am, or you just stumbled upon this video, my name is Emily. So I wasn't going to do this makeup tutorial at first because I figured there's already hundreds of thousands of makeup tutorials on YouTube, so why do one more? But you guys kept asking me for it, so I did it. I did this look with my missing nail. And today's video, like the title says, is how I do my full face glam. I decided to split it up into two parts. So the first part is going to be just how I do my face, foundation, contour, all that stuff. And I'm going to stop talking now and we're going to jump in to the video. So my face is clean. It's moisturized. I don't use a primer, so obviously I didn't put any on. The only thing I want to do on camera is kind of like a little secret of mine. Not really a secret, but it's just kind of a tip for something I do. So I use this eye primer by E.L.F. And I put this on my under eyes. And I do this for two reasons. One being that I feel like it brightens my under eyes. Two, I feel like it helps the concealer really lock into place. And of course I put this on my lids as well. And you don't need a crazy amount, just a little bit, and it helps really lock in your shadow. Also, this primer is like $2, or at least it was $2 last time I bought it. So you can't really go wrong with E.L.F. Don't sleep on E.L.F. E.L.F. has some really good stuff. Alright, that's done, so we're going to move on to foundation. The one I'm using today is by Fenty Beauty, and this is the Pro Filter Foundation. It's okay. I've used it a few times. I feel like it's really hard to blend, and you'll see what I mean now when I start to put it on my face. So I pump it on the back of my hand, then I dab my finger in it, and I dot this all over my face. And the reason I do this is because I feel like if you dip your beauty blender into it, the sponge soaks up all the color and then you won't get much on your face. So once I have this mess on my face, I go in with a damp, clean beauty blender and I blend this out. I don't think this is a full coverage foundation, but you can probably build it up. You see what I mean? How it's kind of like hard to blend? Like it's patchy right here. It starts to dry up really quickly. Alright, so once I'm done with foundation, I go in with concealer. And I'm using the Tarte Shape Tape. And the places I highlight are my chin. Ooh, that's too much. This concealer is like super thick, so if you, especially when it's new, a lot of it comes out. So my chin, Cupid's bow, down the center of my nose, then a triangle in the center of my forehead, and my under eyes. In this area I do kind of like a triangle as well. So once I have the concealer on my face, I go in with the Beauty Blender again and blend that out. For my nose, I pinch the Beauty Blender like this and then very lightly blend that out. Again, for the under eyes, pinch it and blend. And I blend back and forth. I forgot who I learned this from, but the idea is if you blend back and forth, the color will distribute better and it won't settle into lines as much. Yes, I'm missing a nail. Whatever. Then we're going to go in with my favorite part, which is contour. By now, most of you know what this is. This is the Tarteist Pro Glow Highlight and Contour Palette. 4 powder highlight shades, 1 cream, which obviously I use the hell out of, and 1 powder. So I use a flat brush like this. So the places I contour are the dreaded double chin, so I look up into my mirror and I make my first line straight down. Then on the sides, kind of like you're creating an arrow. Then under my bottom lip. And I do that because it's supposed to make your lip look a little more pouty. Then I contour my nose. And the way you contour your nose depends on you and your face shape. I think my nose is really round at the tip. So I focus the majority of the color on the tip, and then once I blend it, I bring it upwards. Forehead. And then the part I get the most questions about is the cheeks. So what I tell people, if you're not too used to doing contour, is you make a fishy face. That way you know where you're supposed to put your contour. So for the sake of the video, I'll do the fishy face. And you don't want to contour past where your eye ends. And you never do it in a straight line. Of course you follow your face shape, but then I bring it up a little bit into like let's say an elongated C shape. And that's what you should be working with. Same on the other side. So this is what I have to work with, and now we're gonna blend. So to blend out my contour, there are several brushes that I could use. For these small areas, I use a tiny fluffy brush like this. And I can bring it around up here and kind of connect it to my eyebrows, but very lightly because I don't want too much color there. Again, I want the majority of the color at the tip. If you think your contour looks a little too harsh, like right here on my nose, I think it's a little harsh, I go in with the Beauty Blender and I kind of just tap along that line. And then for the rest of my face, I use a bigger brush, obviously, which is just like the little one, it's just bigger. So I have this one from Morphe, or this one from It Cosmetics. So you don't want to deposit this color down here because then it starts to look like you have a beard. So something that helps is angling your brush. So you're blending this way. And you can do back and forth motions or circular motions, or both. Of course, under your chin, this part is super tricky. You want to make sure it's super blended, otherwise you're going to get a harsh line and then kind of start to look like you have a beard. And then your forehead. And I always tell people to start off with a little bit and then work your way up because you don't want to get too much. It's easier to add than it is to take away. Then we're going to move on to powder. I have been using the Kat Von D Lock-It Translucent Powder. So I dump some in the lid, and then with the tiny brush that it comes in, I fold it like a tiny taco, dip it into the powder, and apply this to my under eyes. And that's just to further avoid creasing. Then whatever's left in the lid, I go in with a giant fluffy brush. Basically tap, tap, swirl, and I put this all over my face. Then moving on to blush, I'm going to use a classic, and I'm going to go in with NARS Orgasm. This is a travel size. I think I got this from like the Sephora birthday rewards or whatever. So I use a brush like this. You can tell I use it a lot. I just dip it lightly into the blush and then lightly do like little swirl motions on my cheek. Then to warm up the face, you could go in with a bronzer if you want. I'm going to use Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer. I'm going to dip in just the tip and lightly run this all over the places we already contoured. Just a little bit, just to add some color into the face. Then a part that I'm sure a lot of you want to know about is highlight. I'm not at all by any means a master of highlighting or any of this makeup, but I do apply highlight, and my favorite highlight is by E.L.F. Cosmetics. It is, I think, their baked highlight, and this one is Moonlight Pearls. To apply it, I use two brushes. First, this tiny, kind of like a fan tapered brush, and then a giant fan brush. And if you want a really intense metallic highlight, you can always wet your brush with the trusty MAC Fix Plus. So first I'm going to go in with the little one. I'm going to wet my brush. And then I dip it into my highlight. And then I go in on my face. So it's kind of the same thing where we highlighted with concealer, is where you're going to apply, for the most part, where you're going to apply your highlight. Or where I apply my highlight, I should say. Yes. I usually highlight my Cupid's bow with highlighter, and I just do it with my finger because it's easier. I don't typically highlight my nose just because I have really oily skin, so my nose is just kind of highlight itself with oil. But for the sake of demonstration, just a tiny bit. I don't know if you can even see that. And then on my forehead, instead of highlighting just the center, I tend to take all my pictures this way. So I want the light to catch the highlights, so I highlight on the side, still in a triangle motion. You could even bring it into the center and to kind of diffuse it a little bit. You see how it looks wet? That's usually how I want my highlight to look. So now for the cheeks, I'm going to wet my big fan brush. Just one time because I don't want to have overkill. And then I'm going to dip it into the highlight like before. Yes. So that's pretty much it for my skin. If you want to know how I do the rest of my makeup, like my eyebrows, lashes, wing liner, eyeshadow, all that stuff, stay tuned for part 2. That's upside down. Did I just get it on my hair? Another mess on my face, and then I go in. That's a little wrong. Pro Girl, bleh, bleh.